다시는 안 오는 거야?
안 와.
왜 가는 건데?
하고 싶으니까 가지.
왜 가고 싶은데?
한국 사람들은 노벨문학상 못 타.
Past Lives is a film that is hard for me to transcribe into words. At first thought, you might think to call it a romance, but it is closer in terms of romance to Jacques Demy's wonderful musical, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, with its reluctant but eventual acceptance of goodbye to a past lover. An ending that had a bigger influence on another work. But that's for another time. I say romance, but this film still is not a romance at all. You might call it one between Arthur and Nora, but their relationship is not the key focus of the story. Haesung and Nayoung are two who might be in love with each other, but due to conflict and distance, the film describes as inyeon.
There's a word in Korean, inyeon. It means providence or fate, but it's specifically about relationships between people. It's an inyeon. If two strangers even walk by each other in the street and their clothes accidentally brush, because it means there must have been something between them in their past lives.
They are not bound to be with each other. Rather, Past Lives is more about maybes and what ifs to a what could have been, which makes this film more similar to Wang Kar-wai's Chungking Express than anything. Past Lives follows two characters, Haesung and Nayoung, or Nora, a Canadian immigrated New Yorker, a character who is largely modeled after the writer-director herself, Celine Song.
Yeah, I mean, I actually found myself in a bar in East Village, sitting between my childhood sweetheart and my husband, and they didn't speak each other's language. And I found myself translating between these two guys, and I felt myself becoming a bit of a portal or a bridge between them. And that made me feel like something special was happening between us. And that I think that really was the inspiration for the movie.
This is a story of immigration, not really about the act of immigrating itself, like another Korean-American A24 film, Minari, was. Past Lives is a story about immigration in a much more realized sense. The story focuses less on the dramatization of assimilation and more of what it means to immigrate. See, immigrating is an act of change. It's a move and a shift in your life as you move countries.
버리는 게 있으면 얻는 것도 있거든요.
Nayoung is a character who leaves and changes into Nora, and the film is very much about what it means to live in the present in terms of remembering your past or your first home country, which is symbolized for Nora Ju Haesung. Nora is a character who's quite accepting of the present.
This is my life, and I'm living it with you.
But still exists as a person who clings on to her memories of her past life in Korea. And that is exactly why she clicks so well with Haesung. He is a sort of symbol of what her life used to be and what it could have been, as Haesung also is a person who is clung onto the past, maybe even more so than Nora, but comes to eventual terms with the fact that the life he imagines is not the life he lived. There are some moments that the film openly exposes how Nora reflects off of Haesung through dialogue.
I feel so not Korean when I'm with him, but also in some way more Korean.
But as much as the film may rely on dialogue, the film needed to communicate the predicament Nora felt in her relationship to not only her racial identity, but identity. And Past Lives decide turns frustrating in relation to time and space. And how does Past Lives choose to showcase such complex interiority? Through montage. Montage is a cinematic tool that compresses time. It would be nice to explain exactly what a montage is right now, as it has been a popular tool ever since the release of Sergei Eisenstein's revolutionary Battleship Potemkin from way back in 1925. And I would also love to get into how I believe most filmmakers tend to overabuse this tool, but it is not relevant to my point on Past Lives, and there are way smarter people than me who know how to explain the effectiveness of montage and word it way more elegantly than I could. Nerdwriter 1's video on on Parasite's 5-minute montage is the perfect video essay to check out if you want to learn more about the power of montage and editing. I would just like to get back into Past Lives now. Past Lives likes to use compression of time as a way to convey the frustrating fleetingness of time in the second act of the film. 12 years passed since Nora and Haesung have last seen each other. Nora, another one of the thousands of university students in New York who is set on being a playwright, and Haesung, another one of the thousands of engineering students who passed through his 2-year military service, have both adjusted into their adult lives without each other until a curiosity leaped into their heads. What happened to the other? This thought leads us to the most beautiful but tragic moment of their relationship to each other. It all started with a Skype call, a digital presence that brings the two together despite their geographic distance. The whole first scene is held awkward but intimate between Haesung and Nora, and the moment they finally start truly bonding, the visuals cut to the skylines of Korea then New York to not only show the time zone difference between each other but also the time lapse of their call. The visuals then cut back to the room where their call takes place as they reach to the end of their call, but this is only one of the first of many calls to each other. The montage then follows through on a series of brief conversation bits between Nora and Haesung. Each moment is found in a new location for the both of them as they give life updates to each other. The process of showing us this in montage not only reveals how fast time is moving, but also how involved they are in each other's lives. There are moments between each other in the montage that slightly reveal how they feel toward their geographical distance apart, but it is not until this call interruption that Nora realizes their separation is too much for the both of them.
여보세요?
Time slows down and Nora and Haesung both return to their rooms where the reunion began, but now they have to establish its ending. The montage that I just described took approximately 14 minutes, but if you watched the film, you know that it felt more like 5. An excellent manipulation of time. I think I have been spending too much time on this video just simply summarizing the story of the movie, so I wanted to get into my absolute favorite element of the film, Celine Song's sincerity. In sincerity, I mean the level of care Celine Song puts into telling her story. You could see it even in the early stages as you read the script. The genuine diction found in the prose of her words is something that makes the screenplay worth reading. Song chose to shoot the film in 35mm, and that choice proved to be homely as it brought a texture with a heavy grain that made the images feel a lot warmer in a way that the digital camera, with its pristine glassy feel, could not. Celine Song loved to hold in on each and every shot as long as she possibly could, which revealed the huge influence of transcendentalism from films like Edward Yang's masterpiece, Yi Yi, which is a film that taught the audience, the longer you hold in on a shot, the more valuable a cut becomes. I would love to get into how much I adored the acting between the cast and how Song manufactured their chemistry, but instead I'll just leave you with a lot of links down below to interviews where Celine Song and the cast explained exactly that in a way I do not know how to explain. This video took so long to make, so I'd just like to end it at this point. Please let me know about any thoughts you guys had and any movies you might want me to cover. I want to do more of these type of videos from now on, and I would love any support that could come my way. And if you made it this far, thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you.